What's going on, fam? It's been a minute. Haven't posted a video at all this weekend. I usually post at least once, if not twice daily, and I didn't post anything this weekend, but I am back at it. I am going to be posting twice a day from here on out. So if you like the channel, guess what? So we got a daytime video, we got a nighttime video every day. But in today's video, we'll be looking at crazy TikTok conspiracy theories that will make you question reality.
Scariest unsolved mysteries. This picture shows unsolved mysteries from the most well-known to the darkest of the dark.
See that long
Some of
list?
these mysteries will drive you crazy and make you question everything. In this series, we'll be picking some from each category, until we reach tier 10, which will apparently make you and me question our entire existence. Without further ado, let's get into tier 1.
Ready?
This is Malaysian Airlines Flight 370, and it's one of the most famous unsolved mysteries of all time. Now, on the 8th of March 2014, the plane was flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport to Beijing capital. However, the plane never reached its destination. After just over 2 hours, the flight disappeared off the radar, and ATC had no contact with the plane. Days after the mysterious disappearance, people started looking into it, but found absolutely nothing. Not even any debris was actually found initially. It's believed that the plane could have actually been hijacked. And it's also of course possible that the plane did just crash somewhere in the sea, but nothing was found. Make sure you hit that follow button so you don't miss tier 2. It's about to get crazy.
So if y'all have ever heard about Malaysia Airlines, what do you guys think happened to that plane? Did it just come up missing? Did it travel through a vortex and go to another dimension? Like, what happened to Malaysia Airlines? Let me know in the comments section.
This Seattle soda machine is a mystery. No one knows who installed it, no one knows who stocked it, and no one knows who collected the money. Since the late 90s, it sold soda at 75 cents, and it began with one mystery button that gradually grew, and it would dispense rare sodas or sodas that weren't even in circulation. In January 2018, it raised its price to $1, and at that point, all of the buttons were mystery buttons. And in June 2018, it just disappeared. On its Facebook page, it said, "Going for a walk, need to find myself, maybe take a shower even." And since then, it's been photoshopped into pictures from around the world.
This man claimed to be from a country that doesn't exist, and some people say his story could be proof of a parallel universe. In July of 1954, a businessman entered a Tokyo airport and was asked for his passport, which he then handed over. His passport said he was from a country named Torad, and it looked 100% legit and even had stamps from other countries. But the country of Torad doesn't exist. Trying to understand the situation, the customs officers brought out a map and had him point to where the country of Torad was, and he pointed right here. He pointed to the country we know of as Andorra, and this perplexed the man, and he said the map was wrong. And what's even crazier is that the man said he had flown from Torad to Tokyo many times in the past. Since security couldn't verify where this man was from, they detained him and put him in a hotel and put guards at the door. The guards never left the door, but the next morning, the mysterious man, along with his belongings and passport, had disappeared.
Proof that mermaids are real.
What?
Stories about sightings of these creatures date back to over 30,000 years ago. Here's some skeletons that have been discovered over the years. So many people have the same story.
Yo, hold on, pause. I think mermaids are real, man. Mermaids gotta be real. It's like in too many different stories. Like even things like this, it's just crazy to see that, right? Like they found this somewhere. So why would somebody create that? If there wasn't like beings that swam underwater, why would they make movies like the Wakanda Forever or the Avatar movie? You know what I mean? I think there are water beings out there, and mermaids are part of them.
And descriptions of mermaids from all over the world. Obviously, this was way before the internet was a thing, so how big of a coincidence is it that all of these stories match up? There are also real cave paintings that date back over 7,000 years ago that depict humans and mermaids fighting. I mean, take a look at these. They really look like they're mermaids. Columbus wrote about seeing mermaids when he was sailing near the Dominican Republic. He described them as not half as beautiful as they were painted. We've only explored 5% of the ocean, and to give you a better perspective, we've explored 4% of space. I don't know if I believe it, but I definitely think it could be possible. Let me know your thoughts and hit the plus.
Here's some of the greatest conspiracy theories of all time. Michael Jackson, also known as the King of Pop, was one of the most popular singers, songwriters, and dancers of the 20th century. Made famous by his voice, songs, and the also famous moonwalk, he became an all-time favorite amongst society. On June 25th, 2009, less than 3 weeks before his This Is It show, Michael Jackson died from cardiac arrest in his home after being given various medications by his personal physician, Conrad Murray. However, the video you are seeing now was taken on the same day of Michael Jackson's death, which shows what looks to be the famous pop star being escorted out of a coroner's van into a secluded area. Some might say that this happened before his death, but officials pronounced him dead at 2:26 p.m. Pacific time, and this video was taken at night that same day.
I ain't never seen that video. Wait. Has anybody else ever seen that video? I've never seen that. That's crazy. Now I'm thinking about Mike still being here. And then we seen those other videos of Dave, you know, trying to act like Mike. You know, I don't think Dave is Mike, but man, there's so many conspiracies out here about Mike.
That actually turned out to be true. Warning, some of these will make you doubt your government. The first theory that was proven to be true is that the CIA created a heart attack gun. The theory states that the CIA built a secret weapon in the 60s and 70s that could cause a fatal heart attack. The weapon shot a small dart that left nothing behind except for a small red dot on the skin. The target would only feel a small prick, kind of like a bug bite, but would be poisoned. Poison would also not be detected in an autopsy. The next one is actually crazy. In fact, my mom couldn't even believe this one. Another theory proven to be accurate includes the government poisoning alcohol. When the government banned alcohol in 1920, bootleggers would steal industrial alcohol used in paints, fuels, and solvents, and medical supplies and re-distill it for sale. In an attempt to stop people from drinking alcohol, the government changed the formulas of industrial alcohol to make it completely undrinkable. More than 10,000 individuals died because of this. Comment below for part 2.
Conspiracy theories that people actually believe. We live in a simulation. These theories suggest that we live in a giant simulation.
I don't know if I believe in a simulation theory, but you know, when you have deja vu, it kind of makes it that more real. You know what I mean? It's like everything's already written, because how could you have deja vu? You know, you're kind of time traveling at that point. So yeah, I don't know. You guys believe in simulation theory? Let me know in the comments.
So scientists think that in the future we will be able to simulate universes, but that makes us think that maybe it has already been done, and we are the ones that actually live in a simulation and we don't know that we are not real. And even Elon Musk has said that we are probably living in a simulation. The next conspiracy theory is that the moon doesn't exist. People say it is actually just a projection, and some people think it's also a hoax, and it was created to distract people from the existence of Nibiru, which is a rogue planet that will cause the apocalypse. Do you believe that any of these are
scariest unsolved mysteries? This photo shows the world's mysteries from the most well-known to the darkest of the dark. In this series we're going to be picking some from each category until we reach tier 10, which will apparently change your life and make you question everything. If you haven't seen part 1 or 2, go watch my previous videos now. If you have, here's part 3. This right here is the disappearance of Frederick Valentich. Now if you believe in aliens, this mystery is going to mess you up. And if you don't, it's still going to mess you up. So this guy right here is Frederick Valentich. He was actually a pilot who fought in the war, blah blah blah. Now on October 21st, 1978, he took off for a flight. Just like normal, but this was far from a normal flight. Around 25 minutes after taking off, he dialed into control. He said, "There's an object flying near me, can you check the radar?" They checked and saw no other registered aircraft in the air. He then called back in again. He said, "It is not an aircraft. I repeat, it is not an aircraft." And just like that, he was gone. Never seen again. Did something happen with a UFO? Or did he just crash into the sea? That's the question.
Unsolved Mysteries. Crop circles. They used to pop up on the news, movies, and in every type of media, claiming aliens were trying to connect with humans through a language unknown. They reached the height of their popularity from the 1980s to the early 2000s, but after cameras became more and more common, along with the use of drones, people performed these crop circles live on TV, and their mysterious nature became a lot less compelling. Flying rods. Like crop circles, were a phenomenon in the early video days. A lot of the times caught on camera as elongated creatures with multiple appendages. They could never be physically caught, so it was suspected they would travel through dimensions, only in ours for a few seconds. But when professional video cameras captured these alongside of the game cameras, it turned out to be moths distorted by motion blur. The face on Mars, discovered in 1976, little detail was uncovered as their image power was tiny compared to today. With recent cameras, we can see the hill is, well, just a hill. And people were affected by the common tendency of seeing faces in objects. You know about that if you see my video on pareidolia. So there you have it, solved mysteries that were probably pretty mysterious in your parents' days.
These are the craziest conspiracy theories in the world. Honestly, some of these will absolutely blow your mind, so if you're easily scared, just keep on scrolling. But if you love conspiracy theories and this stuff, stick around, it's going to be a long video. Right, so starting off with a nice big one. Who actually runs the world? Like, surely, is there someone above the government? What is going on? Right.
I was just having this talk with someone the other day. There's a few people that I think actually run the world, but hey, yo, this is a crazy one. I'm gonna let you guys hear this theory. What if AI was actually running the world right now, right? And we just don't know it, but we do everything that AI tells us to do. It's like somebody asking the AI what to do, and it tells us what to do, and that's how they go ahead and, you know, run the world. But that would just be crazy. Let me know what y'all think about that.
So we know it's highly unlikely that the government will make every single decision in the world. And the theory is there is some kind of higher power which ultimately overrules them or tells them what they're doing. So this right here is the Plato's Cave analogy. And this is basically meant to represent civilization. So the people sitting down here represent us. And the symbols that we're watching on the walls is like the media and what we see. Then of course we have these people behind which we cannot see. Now these guys here are representing the government, showing us this kind of media to give us like a false representation. So what we're seeing is not the full truth and we're not really realising what's going on. Then behind the guys there, right over here, we've got people above the government, which are the people that are inevitably controlling everything that's going on and whatever. So it's pretty crazy. Now of course we know about the Illuminati. Could they be real? This is where it gets even crazier. This place right here is called Bohemian Grove. And for years, high-ranking government officials have been meeting in this place every summer. But no one really knows what goes on here as it's top secret. But someone managed to get some photos secretly and it showed what looked like some kind of ritual. And there is all these high-ranking politicians in there discussing high-pressing matters, like what is going on. So the theory is, of course, that there is someone much higher than the government controlling everything. What do you guys think about this? And next up, we got an absolutely crazy theory, which is, are we all dead? I know what you're thinking, what you on about? Of course we're not all dead. But trust me, just hear me out. Now, I'm not saying I believe this, but it's all theories and it's crazy. Right, so when we die, we know that our brain is still functioning. Around 8 minutes after we die, we still have brain activity. You've probably heard the phrase, your life flashes before your eyes. Well, the theory is that when you die, you actually see your entire life replaying in your head. But when you're dead, there is no representation of time. So what's actually 8 minutes would just feel like all of eternity. It's like sometimes when you have a dream, you're actually in that dream for like 5 minutes, but actually dreaming it, you feel like you're there for like a whole day. Know what I mean? Pretty crazy. So what if we are all actually dead, just laying in a hospital bed somewhere, and we're in that 7 or 8 minutes right now, rewatching our life? Like what I'm saying now, this has all happened before. Like what? Absolutely blows my mind, but you know.
Strangest unsolved.
Yo, that kind of goes along with the deja vu thing, you know what I'm saying? Like you see something, you're like, I've already seen this before. What if we are just living that little flash of light that you're supposed to see when you're, you know, when you die? And that the world's already over and we're all just reliving. But I do have my questions about that, because how would every individual be reliving that flash of light at the same time instantaneously? You know what I mean? How would you be able to interact with certain? So I don't know, but it is crazy to think about.
Of mysteries from each state. Today we have Kentucky. I know how much you guys love murder and all. Sorry to disappoint. This one's not about murder, but it's really weird. March 3rd, 1876. It was a beautiful day outside until it started raining. Not water, but literal chunks of meat.
What?
When this was all happening in Bath County, Kentucky, people were looking up in the sky and it seemed as if there was no source of where this meat was coming from. Down rained these fat chunks of red meat that had no origin. Whether it was lamb or cow or bear, literally nobody knew what it was. If you don't have this through your head yet, it was literally raining meat from the sky. A vegan's worst nightmare. There is no actual explanation as to why this happened or even what it was. The only theory that arose was that some vultures had gorged themselves on some food, and while flying overhead, they threw up everywhere. While this was back in 1876, they did save some of the meat in this jar, and it is still in there today.
Ew.
Okay, serious question, answer in the comments. How much money would somebody have to give you for you to eat that?
The world's scariest unsolved mysteries. This photo right here shows all the world's unsolved mysteries, from the most well-known to the darkest of the dark. Now in this series, of course, we're going to be picking some from each category until we reach tier 10, which will apparently change the way you see the world. Now make sure to hit that follow button because we're coming towards the end of the series now and stuff's getting messed up. With that said, let's get into part 9. This is messed up. On June the 9th, 1912, a family was living in this house in Villisca in the USA. Now they were a happy family and they'd actually lived there for a while. And they all lived pretty happily in this house. One night they actually had the neighbour's 2 kids over to stay for a sleepover. So that night they all went to bed just like normal. But then things got weird. In the early morning, the neighbour went round to get her kids and found all 8 people brutally murdered on the floor, and the murder weapon an axe. However, there was no signs of forced entry, not even a broken glass, and all the doors were locked when she got there. So what the hell happened?
Right, what was it?
Strangest unsolved mysteries from every U.S. state. Part 4, Maryland. Best state ever, by the way. On September 28, 2017, firefighters were called to put out what initially seemed like a normal house fire at this house in Bethesda, Maryland. However, when the firefighters tried to find the source of the fire, they came across a sinister discovery. The firefighters uncovered a massive network of tunnels underneath the base of the house, and inside the tunnels, they found a dead body. Even crazier, the firefighters discovered many small components of a larger, unknown technology that the owner of the house was planning on building. They described the underground tunnel system as some sort of mad scientist laboratory. While the owner of the house did survive the fire, he has given no information about why he killed that man and what he was planning on doing with.
Now that is crazy. Yo, imagine just going into a house and then, like, man, you just see a whole underground tunnel and then you find Dexter's laboratory or something like that. That would just be wild. But guys, these are some of the most crazy TikTok conspiracy theories that are out there. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, turn your notification bell on, and until next time, YouTube, peace.